and east to west would have been scraped out by the big riverbed that was here,
Yeah.
which you mention in your poem. And you talk about it being a giant, given that kind of sense of vastness, because the valley sides here are very steep and we're quite small here in this landscape.
That did make a difference to the way I wrote when we came up here. I'd always lived in cities, or mostly. I didn't write much about scenery unless there were people in it. Up here you've got the big sky and the big sea and huge spaces around people, and I got far more interested in spaces, in what was in them or had been in them, or what you could imagine into them.
And the Quarff Gap is literally a space, it's a nothingness that you're looking through.
Yeah, and yet it's a space with an identity, a space that's become a landscape feature in its own right. You can recognise from the sea when you maybe can't recognise other things.
That view from the sea coming on the ferry for the east, then it's like hill, and then the gap.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a landmark that isn't a thing. Now we know we're coming to West of Quarff because there is a rainbow sign that says stay safe in West of Quarff, which is kind of faded in the way that a lot of the rainbows are now.
Yep.
So you've been in Shetland for about 10 years?
Yeah. We used to come up here a lot before that on holiday. My husband is actually responsible for that. When he left school, he spent some time in the summer working in the fish factory. You think that would have put him off, but no, it didn't actually. And he always wanted to go back, so when we had children we brought them up here, and then we just kept coming.
And your poetry and your novels kind of touch on a very wide range of subjects, you know, not just Shetland, not just landscape.
I'm not sure it's so wide. I mean, basically it's travel and history. Either going to new places sets me off, or reading about dead people, basically. I write an awful lot about dead people.
What is it about dead people that inspires you to write about them?
Well, they can't sue you for one thing, but no, it's just that history is a fascinating field. Beryl Bainbridge, the novelist, once said, "Why make up stories when there's so much history?" I don't entirely agree with that, because in a way history is made up as well. But I keep meaning to read more modern novels, and then I read some and think, well, that was a bit predictable, and then I go back and read a history book, which isn't.
So history's very alive for you?
Very much.
And the history of this place, of the Quarff Gap and West of Quarff, you were thinking about that, I think, when you were writing this poem.
I was to some extent, but I was thinking very much too about space. I mean, this place has got a huge history. It was carved up by a river whose proportions one can barely imagine in prehistoric times, and it may not even have been in this hemisphere at the time. It's moved God knows how many times. The whole timeline of history fascinates me because it's so much bigger than we are. But at the time I was also fascinated by space and what it retains of what was once in it. I'm very fond of a West Country poet from the 19th century called William Barnes, who was awfully good at recreating the space where a person used to be. He does it in loads of poems. One of them, a poem called Oak Hill, where a widower is leaving the house where his wife used to be, because his well-meaning friends have told him he ought to make a new life for himself in a new place. He's moving all his belongings on a horse and cart, and he's got them all on, and the children are on, and then instead of climbing on the front of the cart himself, he goes back into the house. And when he comes out, he has someone on his arm who's invisible, and he helps her up on the cart, and then he talks to her all the way to the new house, and then escorts her in. Of course his friends think he's gone a bit peculiar, but he explains that actually he realised that he didn't want to leave his memories behind, he wanted to take them with him. There are some beautiful phrases in that. When he describes himself turning around on the cart, talking to light at my shoulder, and then when he helps her down from the cart, with air-reaching hand. And I like the idea that she's there for him, even though what he's looking at is a space where she used to be. And there's something of that about the Quarff poem. I was very into spaces where things once were.
You have a line in it about is it the air pouring in, which I really like.
Quarff Gap. A place named for nothing. A nothing. A space in a spine of hills. A great scoop of sky in a green spoon. A doorway from east to west. A place with a past before history started. Think the river back, the giant whose bed you stand in. It would run where the skewers balance, between two hills, where air pours in place of water. Something was here. Now, nothing is. Nothing fills the eye, bowl-shaped, wind-blown, the colour of weather, salt-flavoured, singular. Who knew nothing could be such a landmark? From the North Sea, sailing up this coast, bays blur, nesses flatten out. It's hard to tell townships apart. But no one can miss the gap, the emptiness that signs its name across landscape, sky, that draws the fancy like a window, or rather, the space in a ruined wall where a window was. Look, we can't see the east anymore.
Come through to the other side.
Yeah.
In just those few minutes. We can see across to Borough. Feels like a kind of precious last day of summer, this. Just when it was getting cold.
Beautiful. The hill looks much shallower from that side.
It does. It doesn't look like it's 800 feet at all. I'm not sure I could live in a valley because I like to see everything around me. I like to be on top of the hill. And I would feel kind of closed in.
I know what you mean. I spent some time once at a writing centre. It's on the side of a valley, and we went for a walk actually down into the valley once, and I felt absolutely claustrophobic. You know, you just can't see anything but the sides of this valley all the way up. Yeah. With Shetland valleys, you can generally see the sea somewhere, which makes a difference. It's like going through a tunnel when you can see the light at the other end.
Yeah, you don't have to go far to get to the sea.
No.
But it's definitely, places I've been in England, in kind of valley upon valley upon valley, and you think, oh God, where's the end, where's the sea?
I put my fascination with the sea down to having been born in Birmingham, which is about as far from the sea as you can get.
We're just coming to the end of this road where you have to park and then go down to the beach, so maybe just wander in there.
I think that lorry's coming back up. I might want to let it pass.
Last time I was here, I ran up that big hill so that I suddenly had a burst of energy because I wanted to see the whole thing, you know. There's no sheep down here, I'm noticing.
No.
Down at the water end of Wester Quarff. So the girth is really long and kind of lush.
Yeah.
What's that? Is that a whap?
Sorry, I'm hopeless. My daughter could tell you.
So, another track. And this way we go down to there's a pretty bridge at the bottom. It's a lovely noise. We're standing on this concrete bridge over this pretty burn, like a little echo of the great river this would have once been.
It seems amazing to think that's all that's left of it.
And so we go through this gate. It opens up to the sea, and there's kind of petty hummocks and red rock everywhere.
Yeah.
It's the kind of place that you would want to come as a bairn and play all day. As we stand here between two hills, the air's not really pouring in because it's such a gentle day. But you really get a sense of like being in the bed in the bottom of this valley.
Yeah. I think now that the most important thing I wrote there was something was there, now nothing is. Nothing is a thing. It has an identity of its own.
Almost like it should have a capital N.
Yeah.
I find it really mind-bending, as you were saying, that this would have been in a different part of the world, a different continent all that time back, and what a small speck we are in this landscape and time.
And still moving. And as we stand on the continents, they're still moving around.
So we motorbike puttering away.
It's a very peaty river, isn't it? You can see the brown in it.
It's Mary's pit though, it's kind of like red.
Get that in the Hossick Burn actually.
Oh, really?
Sometimes you can see the red-brown flowing into the sea.
It used to be when we ran a bath in Fair Isle, it would be brune like that. And I'd say, Ma, I don't want to get in that, it's weird.
Yeah.
And Mum would say, some people pay a lot of money in spas for this. Yeah.
That to do.
It's a very, very peaceful place here.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I could stay here all day, really. So you were writing poetry from when you were very young.
Yeah.
And then how did that develop in your life?
Well, I kept writing it at school, and in fact I did win a couple of children's competitions. Then when I was at university I stopped. I think I was reading so much that I couldn't really write, if you see what I mean. All the ideas were from other people. I took it up again when I got my first job, which was in the civil service, which is quite boring. And working at a boring job actually helps you to write, especially when it's got nothing to do with writing. I left the civil service and had some children too. I wrote about other things for a while, and then I got a job teaching creative writing at a university. That was disastrous for my own writing because I was thinking all the time of my students' work. I could only write really in the holidays. I left that in 1998, I think, and escaped and returned to the wild. But I never stopped writing for very long, except when I was at university, I think. But I don't have a huge output like some people. You see people on social media saying, I've written 20 poems this month, and you think, well, throw 10 of them away for God's sake.
What's the process of writing a poem like for you?
It's usually got to start with words or rhythms. If it starts with an idea, it can take a very long time to get anywhere. Or an image, that helps. Last one I wrote was because I saw a tweet somebody published about she's a Thames mudlark, and she found a little toy soldier in the mud.
I read it.
And that was the idea, the image of the toy soldier who could so easily stand for any real soldier.
Yeah, it was very vivid.
Oh, thank you. Sometimes it'll be a phrase that just has a certain rhythm. But Gillian Clarke, the Welsh poet, she heard a phrase on a bus and wrote an entire ballad about it. I can't remember what it was offhand, unfortunately, but it had this ballad metre to it.
It's a kind of form of self-expression, or a way of condensing and distilling your thoughts. Is poetry quite important for that?
Yeah, I think so. It's also a way, to be honest, of cutting cinematically between scenes. You don't have to write all the boring bits and then we went out that room and went into this room, I think that's quite important to me. When I've written novels, I found it quite difficult to get people from A to B. I think just leave that out. Alexander Dumas had a much better method. He had a little school of students who used to write the boring bits for him while he came and did the big set pieces.
Wow.
Like an artist's studio, basically. If he had to get the musketeers from one town to another, they'd do that bit, and then he'd come in and write the battle. Yeah.
I just noticed we're going past a pretty house with the byre end of it has a grass roof.
Oh yeah, like in Iceland.
Like in Iceland, yeah.
Gosh, isn't that lovely?
Yeah. We're looking up at the north side of the valley with the two big hills.
That's terrific.
On either side. And there's almost another valley running north-south in between the hills that we're looking at, dissecting this one.
Beautiful place. You see winter's coming, there's going to be more geese than sheep soon.
There's a lot of geese making a lot of noise, and no doubt a lot of clat. Are those pigs or just large sheep?
I think we'd have to get closer.
Yeah. It's all going on in West Quarff.
Oh yeah.
Agricultural wise. Someone's got a very fine polytunnel I noticed up there. I'm pretty envious of.
It's certainly a place to come for peace and quiet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at the way the burn comes down that hill in all those spurs.
So that's what I meant with those deep burns that you can sit in and playing with a bairn. Well, I still do. And large trees here, which I find a bit disconcerting. We're just going past the most extraordinary garden. You wouldn't think it was in Shetland. It's amazing. There's like, is that a dove? A dovecot, you'd call it?
Yeah.
There's a white dove.
Yeah. Obviously lives in there.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So that's about 50 geese.
Gosh, yeah. Sometimes I've stirred them.
There's a giant white rabbit as well.
Yes. I just saw him.
It's amazing. This is like a pretty zoo. It's amazing what an oasis you can carve out, even in this climate and this environment.
Oh, yeah.
With a bit of tree shelter.
I've seen a fair few nice gardens in Shetland, and they don't all have trees either.
Now, you're right, these are sheep. I know whose sheep these are. They're very fine. Some of them are quite long in the tooth.
Ah.
And these are Shetland sheep. And they have the most amazing markings. They're all very different.
Yeah. Beautiful, aren't you?
We're about halfway through again, and I've just noticed that there's the big sweep of the hill to the north, and then it goes down to the bottom of the valley, and through that I can see the transmitter on top of Ward Hill in Bressa.
Oh, yeah.
So that's us
I see it, yeah.
standing in the middle of the land,
Good
looking
God.
to either side.
Yeah. And I can say, yeah.
It's quite
possible.
There's Stuart, he's strimming. Hello. Do you want to tell me what it's like living in the valley?
It's just wonderful. It's wonderful. Whenever we get a bit depressed, you just look out the window and it's beautiful.
It's a very peaceful place.
Yes. It's lovely. We're close to Lerwick, but it's a no-through road, so there's no traffic.
Yeah, you have to want to come here to come here.
Yeah. I mean, people do. People come for a drive out, and that's just fine. We've got a waterfall just a couple of 100 yards off the road. It's beautiful. People go up there and it's wonderful. They tend to go up in the summer and there's no water, but in the winter it's so majestic.
We were just saying, like, it is the most amazing landscape here because the sides of the valley are so steep, and because it runs east to west, which is quite unusual. In the middle of this big long run of hills in the South Mainland, you have this one cut all the way through.
And it's had peculiar consequences as well. Historically, the connections from west to Quarff were to Scalloway, not to Lerwick, because in those days people had boats. And the house over there was a chap called Davy Posty, and he would get the mail from Scalloway by boat.
I've seen a photo, I think it's from 1910, of a yole, and it's flitting the minister into West Quarff,
Is that right?
or away to Borough or something. Yeah.
Likely will.
Kind of looks like Faroese or Norwegian, this great sweep of hill in front of us here. Really dramatic. And another burn going kind of under the road here.
Yeah.
Just going to look on the map so I can see what I'm looking at. So it's straight into the gap between Eastborough and Trondra. So we're looking directly to the east through the end of the valley over to the hill just before Hamnavour, I suppose. Sometimes I walk all the way up through these hills.
Oh, yeah.
Stand at Cliff Hills and I wave at my pal who lives at Hoos and wish that I had a boat that I could just go and hop in and go and see her. And there's Bressa.
Oh, yeah.
Just over the hill. So now we can see both ends. This is the point, the magic point.
Yes.
I can see Fulla and I can see Bressa.
Yeah.
That's strangely pleasing. So I guess that means if you were at the top of Ward Hill in Bressa, you would get a view all the way through the Quarff Valley to all the way to Fulla.
You can. Certainly you can from Newton Noss. You can see Fulla sometimes. Mm-hmm. On a clear day you're supposed to be able to see practically everywhere. You can see Skerries in the west, Fulla, probably Saxaford, down to Sombra Head.
Mm-hmm. I used to live at the foot of Ward Hill, just near the lighthouse in Bressa. So we would go up sometimes.
Bressa was where we used to stay when we first came up here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like the really big cliffs in Bressa and the Bard are kind of all lit up in relief. You can see all the nooks and crannies and the shadows. And the end of the Bard there, that really strange shape that it makes. Big finger of land going out. So we're nearly finished our loop. We've lost sight of the Atlantic. Do you see the place differently, having written a poem about it? Did it change how you saw it?
Not really. It's kind of like there are two of it. There's the one in my head and the real one that we're walking in. I think a place is always more than it is at this moment. It's also what it used to be and what it is for different people. If I lived in it, no doubt I'd feel differently as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and a place can be different every time you come back to it, depending on what mood you're in and what you see in it.
And what the weather's doing.
Yeah, that helps. Yeah, no, I've only ever seen this place in summer. In fact, I've never. I've seen it in winter, obviously, but I've not walked in it in winter.
Yeah. Well, as Stuart was just telling us, apparently winter's the best time to see the big waterfall at his house. I would love to see this in snow, like in deep snow. Wouldn't it look amazing?
Oh yeah.
We're in the kind of no man's land now between Easter and Wester Quarff.
Yeah.
Where it's just hill. It's like a big bowl shape.
Yeah. That's very, very obvious from the sea. I think it really does look like a scooped out bowl.
Mm-hmm. I've never noticed it, and next time I get on the boat, I'll be avidly looking out for the Quarff Gap. One thing he said earlier, he said you can't really hear many birds apart from the geese, and I can hear the crows. Apart from that, it is very, very still today.
Yeah.
I'm trying to imagine pulling a boat through here.
I know.
Strong men. Well, that is us, completed the Quarff circle and gone through the gap and back again. Aye. Thank you very much. The West Shores of Quarff by Filska, ending our journey through the Quarff Valley. Next I head south to Levenwick for a walk around its headland with a musician whose lyrics are all about the landscapes she loves.
Wild winds keen, a cornice formed, overhanged leans, prevailing force, so struggy like the waves, a sea of ice,
With its wide sweep of sandy beach and pretty elevated kirkyard, Levenwick is surely one of the boniest spots in Shetland. It's also a bit of a hub of creativity, a lot of painters bide here, and one resident has been enjoying particular success this year. Singer-songwriter Jenny Sturgeon's latest album was met with star-studded reviews and a music award. But while she'd usually be on tour for much of the year, lockdown meant confinement to Levenwick. No bad thing, she told me, as we walked out along the shore in September. So we're just walking down the wee path to Levenwick Beach. It's very sandy, and it's a path that I feel like I know very well already, but you probably know it even better.
Yeah, it's a good place. I spend quite a lot of time here. I feel like I should take my shoes off, really. I don't feel like I've been to the beach unless I've got my toes in the sand. I know I'm biased because I live here, but it's a really good beach.
I mean, I think it could make claims to being the best beach.
You
but
think? Ooh.
Yeah, but let's not start that war. What does the sand feel like?
Oh, it's quite a warm day, but the sand's really cool, so it's just refreshing on the feet.
Mm-hmm. And then it opens up through the dunes into the beach.
Yeah, and there's nobody else here. It's quite unusual. You don't normally see crows here.
It's an omen, Jenny.
What do you think they're trying to tell us?
We're just going over this pretty river that appeared about a month ago, didn't it?
Yeah.
I think there was a bit of a storm.
It's quite amazing because every time you come down to the beach it's in a slightly different location. depending on the tide and the prevailing wind. It's quite often kids building dams in it.
Man, it's so beautiful here today. Like, the sea's just so clear and just lapping at the shore, and then there's all these pretty, like, what are they, like rivulets?
Veins, almost in the sand, aren't they? I know you can never tell how calm it's going to be here because I've lived just up the hill, and it can be really blowing a hoolie, and then you come down here and it's just really calm.
We could go and sit on your favourite rock.
Oh yeah, here's a good rock. Now you know about it as well, Jen.
So we're standing there like halfway down the beach, and we can get a really good view across to Hoosick and Sheenagh, and it's this, like, I love this time of day in Levenwick because the evening sun just peeps over the hill, and so it sends this like slanting golden light down through the valley there and then down over Levenwick.
It's been quite good the last couple of days as well because it's been quite stormy looking sea. It's been really dark sea, but with the sun as well, and there's something quite beautiful and dramatic about that.
Yeah, the contrast.
Yeah.
So we can actually see your house for here.
Yeah. All the painting I've been doing on the windows.
And how long has that been your home?
Nearly 3 years. We lived just a mile further up the road before, in that wonderful Shetland way. Kind of came across the house by meeting somebody on the beach and got invited in to go and have a look at it. We fell in love with it. It was mostly the view, to be honest. We can see right out to sea from our house and also right into Levenwick Bay, so there's a pair of binoculars kind of sat on our table
for basking sharks
and like, oh, who's that on the beach? We've had some amazing things turn up in the bay though, and we had some humpback whales and Rizzo's dolphins, and there's been pilot whale, loads of orca. You kind of wake up thinking, oh, I'll just gonna sit and do admin today or whatever, and it ends up a very memorable day for the wildlife.
I actually live next door to you, and my house is quite old, so the windows are quite pretty, and I'm kind of thankful for that sometimes, because when I'm trying to read or like concentrate, I can not being constantly distracted by just how beautiful everything is outside all of the time, or like the gannets. I find that so to watch the gannets dive, like I can watch them from my bedroom or from my sitting room, and I don't think I would ever get sick of seeing that sight. Like, it makes my heart leap every time I see it.
Yeah. And at the moment the ravens are making a lot of noise up the hill behind our house, and I love just kind of pottering about in the garden or in the house. I've got the windows open and just the sound of the raven comes drifting through. Something, not many places you can get that.
And sometimes the rain goose.
Yes, yeah.
Which is a
quite
pretty eerie noise to hear in the evening.
Yeah. Because I'm normally away most of spring and summer, getting to see the little family of wrens that have fledged, and I've been digging and planting lots of tatties and other veg, and they've been loving the veg patches as like a little dust bath, and I've never seen wrens do that before, because normally you see like this fleeting glimpse of something with like buzzing wings fly past at me height, but I don't know, they've maybe just got a bit bolder, or I'm not sure, but there was a family of 4 of them taking a dust bath the other day, and I just sat and watched them for like 20 minutes. And
that's really nice to have created a place where wrens will come and visit you.
I know.
That's really cool.
Even if none of my veg actually grows, then
your veg grows.
At least the wrens will come.
Your veg grows. Let's talk about your veg. I think it's impressive.
Yeah.
You grew the best tatties, I think, that I've had this year.
Excellent, that is good news.
Yeah. You just got a good crop of courgettes.
Yeah. The world's smallest courgettes.
Yeah. It's a very tidy, productive looking veg garden.
Oh, thanks. It's mainly because everything's died. Having grown up in Aberdeenshire, I wasn't sure. I have been up in Shetland and worked on Fair Isle and things, but I knew I liked it, but I wasn't sure how I'd feel about living here, just because I'm used to trees and rivers and everything that's further south. But actually, I love it. Month 3, I was like, yep, I'm happy to live here forever. Like, having the sea, it's just constantly changing. There's something new to look at every minute, really.
I find the noise of it really reassuring.
Yes. I love beachcombing. I take home lots of stuff. I'll probably leave the dead fish.
Yeah. Lucky Will.
Yeah, I know. I have to start like leaving stuff at the door now, because I collect so much things from the beach, like sea glass and shells and whale bones and all sorts. We've got like a shelf of beach finds, which includes some bird skulls and all sorts of things. And
You do,
you
yeah.
suddenly realise
It's
how
really cool.
weird you maybe are when people come round who don't know you very well.
No, I like your
feel
shelf of death.
Oh, thanks. I'm quite proud of it.
It's a nice thing to gaze upon while you're eating your tea.
Yeah.
So we're just climbing along the rocks here at the Levenwick Ness, I guess this is. Coming up to what used to be the Heron station, and there's still the big concrete at the pier.
I came down here, my granny died at Christmas time last year, 2019, and I couldn't get down for the funeral, but luckily I'd seen her just a few days before she died, and she was on absolutely brilliant form and didn't know she was ill or anything. I had a lovely time with her, and then unfortunately she died, but I couldn't go to the funeral, but at the time that the service was on, I came for a walk around this headland, and obviously it was very emotional, and it was quite a wild day. The wind was like you're battling against the wind, really in your face, struggling to breathe. But just round the headland there were 2 otters. It was the most beautiful, poetic thing that could have happened, and to see those otters, I think it was a mother and a cub, and I kind of went over the top here and heard this like high-pitched mewing, and I was like, oh, I wonder what that is. So I lay down on the grass and snuck forward, and there was this otter cub. It was quite reasonably old, but sort of mewing away at its mother, and its mother was out fishing in the surf, and the cub went out to meet it and then watched them for like half an hour or something, and then kind of the length of the service, and then they disappeared, and it was quite profound.
That kind of thing has happened to me in Shetland quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I am open to it.
Yes. Just
Yeah.
stopping and looking at things, I think, is... I feel like I don't do it often enough.
Not many folk would go for a walk around this headland on a day of howling winds in January, did you say?
It was December, yeah.
December.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, when you do go, there's often magical things around the corner.
Yeah, definitely.
A beauty in the rise and fall between the sun and Rose Rock. My thoughts drift away. An illusion of light. Feel the rain in the air, where the thin mist is hanging shrouded. Dwarfed by the sky at night, these fearless mountains are nearly lost from sight. Track the hill with a harvest moon, moving, shifting on across a winter sky. An illusion of light. Feel the rain in the air, where the thin mist is hanging shrouded. She's there. Down with the fog, and down comes the rain. Down with the fog, and down comes the rain.
had a lot more time in Levenwick this year than you normally would, I think.
Yeah.
So often you're away touring.
The longest I've ever been in Shetland in one go has been 6 weeks, and now I've been here for 5 months. And I love it. But yeah, no, I'd normally be away on tour.
And you would have been because you had an album out.
Yes, like everything, I suppose there's been ups and downs to it. I've enjoyed lots of bits about it, being here and having more time, and I've spent years saying, oh, if only I had 3 months or 2 months of time that made itself available to me, I'd be so productive. And it turns out I'd only be productive in the garden. Couldn't actually create any music.
It's the most perfect form of production.
I think so.
Yeah.
Getting your hands in the soil, I've really missed that. I don't think I realised how much I'd missed that from those days working as a gardener and growing veggies.
So we're just coming around the headland here. What does this place mean to you?
That's a good question. I think it's hard to sum that up because it means so many things. It's home and relaxation and enjoyment and everything, really.
Life itself.
Life itself, yeah. Like, exactly. I think there's just like so many good memories connected with the place and exciting experiences of, you know, like seeing those otters, like I said, or it's also, yeah, friends and family and interest and history. It's everything.
Mm-hmm. And what does it have like a role in your songwriting, in your imaginative, creative life, the landscape?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I've ever been as creative as when I've lived here, and I think it's partly because when I am here, my work is to create, so I'm not tied down by having to go out and tour or anything. So when I'm at home, I'm really, really at home, and time that I have to sit and think, and for me, like the creating, it takes quite a lot of time to get into that zone. There's no better place for me to do that than to be sat in my living room at my little office table, which is actually our kitchen table, and be looking at this view and be inspired by that. So there's lots of songs have been created in my time living here, and snippets of ideas, and a lot of things sort of bubble under the surface or are waiting to be until I've got the right time or right space to write the thing. But there's notebooks full of ideas, and I think so much of it for me is about the visual element, and so I can picture a scene of that. I've seen it in all the weathers, so I can recall those times.
They're all kind of there for you to access.
Yeah.
Is there any songs in particular that?
Yeah, so there's quite a lot. I wrote most of Northern Flyaway when I was living in just around the corner, or we moved into Levenwick, and that was a project with Inga Thompson. So we both contributed half of the songs each, effectively, and did a couple of co-writes, and I wrote everything in that house.
Oh
mean, it's a special place because of that. And then the more recent project I've been working on, the Living Mountain, again, although there's not really a mountain here, it's not necessarily about a mountain anyway. It's about the wildness and the joy of being outdoors, and there's lots of that here. So yeah, and working with, there's some women I work with locally, and we're in a band called Herkia, and we've written quite a few things based on our lives here. So it's just it's a special place. There is always that worry. You write a song, you're like, maybe I'm never going to be able to write another one. But it's not happened yet.
Should we go down here? Because this is one of my favourite places near Levenwick, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. And it's like this wee beach full of these beautiful, almost like pinky, dusky red stones, but they're so... Like some of them have just come straight out of the hill, because the cliff itself is crumbling away beneath our feet. But some of them are out the sea, and they're like smoothed and rounded.
I think the otters must spend quite a lot of time here, because there's quite often loads of sea urchin shells around. Or scabby manseeds.
Like, see this? I don't know anything about geology, so it's all just like magic to me, but look at this, all the lines in this.
Yeah. I like that just round here it kind of feels like you could be at any point in time in history, because you can't necessarily see any houses depending on what direction you look in. It feels quite ancient. This is where I saw the otter.
Oh really?
Which I now think is called Betty, obviously after my granny. I knew that it was a mother and cub, but to see one of them first, and then my granddad died a couple of years ago, and it was almost like it was just like, I'm welling up thinking about it, but these two otters kind of were reunited in the water and then disappeared, and it just felt like, oh, that kind of just really gets you in the chest, kind of wins you, I think, when things like that happen. And I know that it was a mother and offspring, but it could also I don't know if it helps you make sense of something by thinking about it like my granddad and my granny. Well, and I'm glad I did that rather than going to the funeral as well. Like, it's a much more meaningful thing for me, and I found it's getting deep now. I found it quite difficult telling actually saying to my mum, I'll be there if you want me to be there, but I kind of want to go and walk around Levenwick and experience this in a different way. And she was like, yeah, go for it.
Here is the deep cleft of an enemy.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look very impressive now because there's not much water in it, but
I've hopped over this before and ignored the anemones because I wasn't looking.
They're little bits out. Tentacles? I don't know what they're called. I studied zoology at university. It's so embarrassing.
Got your bits out?
Yeah. You sometimes see like little shrimps and fish.
It's like a tiny world.
It is, isn't it? But there's the sea spaghetti, look. Whoa.
Ah, look at the kelp.
Isn't it beautiful? So
this is such a cool... We're like right on the edge of this headland on the Barnacley Rocks, and we're looking down through the very clear water into like a kelp jungle.
Yeah.
A rainforest.
I had an amazing day earlier this year with a couple of pals, and got up at sunrise, which was about 4 o'clock in the morning, and went out on my paddleboard, and we went round the headland here and went all the way down nearly to Clumley. 15 kilometres in total there and back. It was the most crystal clear day. I think we could probably see like between 20 and 30 metres down to the seafloor. And the kelp forests, I don't think I'd appreciated just how vast they are. And everything was just absolutely mind-blowing. It was like glassy water. We saw 2 minke whales, a pod of white-sided dolphins. There was puffins diving underneath the... when you can see them diving under the water. It was just... I've never seen that before, and it was amazing. And these huge jellyfish that must have had like 20-foot tentacles on them.
Oh, God.
And everything was really vivid, so clear. Love the sea. I'm also very scared of it, or have a great respect for it.
I think that is appropriate.
Yes, I think it's sensible. But just to get to see that, it was just amazing. So that is one of these incredible experiences that just, again, sort of like the Mariel, just will stay with me forever.
Step on step, foot by foot, we walk, that's how we know. Through the heather and the mud, the plateau ringing through our blood. Line on line and hunkered down, this wild and weathered place. Life remains against the odds. Tread careful as we step in time. Freedom off the well-trod path against the river's flow. These dizzy heights release me and bring me home. Set me free. Set me free. Let's disregard what's written down and follow our own feet. Learn to read the mountain signs of corries, bends and contour lines. Step on step, foot by foot, we walk, that's how we know. Through the heather and the mud, the plateau ringing through our blood.
We're sort of lying in these hummocks here
Yeah.
on the edge of a very steep cliff. We just saw the North Link go by, all golden in the sun. And there's mallees galore, and they're doing that thing where they kind of bank near you over and over again, like they're kind of curious,
Yeah.
or maybe telling you to go away.
I think curious. It's just lovely watching birds that seem to really enjoy that, being able to fly. Like the mallees coming off the land and hitting like the upwelling of air off a cliff and having a great time. And the ravens do that barrel rolling. They're only doing that for the pure joy of it.
These mallees are actually coming in so close that I'm hoping we'll catch one on the tape. We'll hear it, the whoosh of wings as it goes past you. Yeah, when I was away, this is where I would sit in my mind, was on the very, very edge of a big cliff and hear just that endless, endless noise of the sea.
I think I've definitely got more feared over the years, like from the days on Fair Isle of going like climbing cliffs and roped up and doing all that work, and I'm now like, oh, I'm not so sure about it anymore. I can't believe I did that.
So what did you do in Fair Isle?
So we went to a few different spots. There was 2 main sites, and then Gunnerwalk and Easter Lother. We would go down and on ropes and catch seabirds and attach these GPS loggers onto their back near their tail with some tape, like that would fall off after a few days. So we had to try and recatch them after 3 days, which would have presumably got them going out to forage for their chicks. That was always quite good fun. I think we got all of them back in the end, and it was really interesting getting to go back to the obs, and basically you're plugging in it's like a car GPS or something, and it shows you where these birds have gone to forage for their food, and some amazing tracks. I remember there was one that we got back off a razorbill that had flown back in the fog, and it was like banking, sort of zigzagging its way back up to Fair Isle. You could just, obviously had no visual clue of where it was going, but had a rough sense of direction in this sort of zigzag between Orkney and Fair Isle, trying to find it in the fog.
That's some introduction to Shetland.
I know.
Abseiling in Easter Lother.
Yeah.
Because that's like that's far taller than the cliffs that we're sitting on just now.
Yeah.
That's,
I can't believe I did it now. Looking back, I'm like, oh, I definitely couldn't do that job now.
I would do it in a flash.
Yeah.
I love that. How long have you been writing songs?
I probably wrote my first song, I think, when I was 16, and then didn't write anything after that for ages. Got back into... Do you know, it was actually being on Fair Isle. It was me meeting Lisa Sinclair and spending time with her and her family. And I did a lot of singing around at her house, and that inspired me to get songwriting and do music again. So 2012, I've always played bits and bobs of music while I was doing jobs in ecology and at university and stuff, but never thought anything much of it. And then it was meeting her, and she's such an inspiring woman and a really good friend. It made me think, actually, this is where it's at. This is really good fun. And when I came back to Aberdeen after that time on Fair Isle, I started writing songs. I wrote a song a month for a year and realised that it was something I really enjoyed doing, and it was possible to do it. And you don't write your last song and then never write another one. It just gets easier each time you do it. For me, it was a sense of freedom, I suppose, compared to working in ecology, which I really enjoyed as well. But if you're writing anything up, it's checked a million times and it gets edited to within an inch of its life, whereas nobody edits my songwriting apart from me. I should probably edit it more sometimes, but I just love the creativity and, I don't know, the speed at which some songs are written, whether it's fast or slow or over years or in half an hour.
And it was like certainly landscapes that had a big part in the record that you've been putting out this year, but the cairngorms and mountains and rivers and...
Yeah. Well, I think in all the records I've done, it's always been to do with sort of nature and landscapes. Even before realising it, I think it's just something that I enjoy. I wanted to study animals partly because I love watching them, and I still do, but it's the landscapes that it takes you into as much as anything. And that, I think, just because I've got a passion for that, it's like naturally fed into my writing and the melodies and the topics and everything.
Your husband works in ecology.
He does, yeah.
So that's very much still part of your life, even though you're not working in it yourself now.
Yeah, even though I still find it weird calling him my husband. Like
I know, I nearly
my
paused
partner. It feels weird.
Your will.
My will, yeah. He works in ecology, and that's how we met on Fair Isle. That is something that brought us together, is our love of nature and the outdoors, and it's still something we really enjoy, going out and exploring. And when I'm at home, I go out and I wouldn't say I help him with his field work. I kind of get in the way and talk to him while he's trying to do his field work. It's lovely to still have that connection. Way a bonksy.
The bonksy is so
a flyby.
Yeah, we can see right up its nose.
Yeah.
And there was a gannet just there. There he is. He's going to dive.
Oh yeah.
If I ever do fall off a cliff, it's going to be watching a bird because I'll get too excited. He's young, isn't he? Because look at the marks on his wings. He's still got bits of grey and black. Oh, he's so beautiful.
There we go.
If you'd never kind of taken not the plunge, I guess, but just started songwriting, that would be a big lack in your life, all that expression and kind of coalescing your thoughts.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't know what I'd be doing otherwise. Still working in ecology maybe, or doing something else. I've always thought that I'd be happy doing any job if I'm working with nice people, and that's the main thing.
Because you do manage to make a living writing songs, which is not something that many people can say.
Yeah, I mean, it's not much of a living. It's definitely enough to survive on. I love it, and I think that makes up for late nights, and I can't sit down and work out how much I get paid per hour, because it would probably put me off the whole idea. But I love it, and I wouldn't really want to do anything else. I think it's the variety as well, so I'll be writing songs, sat at home writing songs one day and then playing a gig to 300 people the next night. So it's just really varied. Really enjoy it.
That sounds like a good life.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thanks. I'm not sure how it happened. I like doing the ecology and writing songs, and then I got invited to do a project out on St Kilda, writing songs about the nature there, and it just kind of made sense of everything I'd done up until that point. I was like, okay, I understand now.
Yeah, it's good when it fits together.
It certainly is. One of the things I love about Shetland is that creativity is valued as a really important part of life, and there's so many creative people doing all sorts of things, painting and creating music and playing gigs and all sorts of things, and it really adds to the variety of what's going on and the good quality stuff that's created in Shetland, I think.
And you can never underestimate like how important one person's work and creativity can be, because as you said, like I think for so many people meeting Lisa Sinclair was really important for them. She was so encouraging of people, and she knew how to kind of bring them out and find their like what they were really good at, and just gently encourage them.
She was just so generous with that, wasn't she?
Yeah, she's very, very missed.
Anchoring the surface life between bedrock and the sky, deep rooted to this place. We are of the soil, of the soil.
The sun is just about to disappear over the top of the big hill behind Levenwick, and we're walking down to the banks into the village.
Heading straight for the sun, blinded.
But we can see the really old kirkyard here, and the slanting shadows coming across it. It's just gorgeous. And I get the sense you feel like this is a village in which you know quite a lot of the people, and that's quite important to you.
Yeah, similar to where I grew up in Aberdeenshire in that way. It's like it's a real community feeling, and I think particularly during lockdown I got to know a lot more people, which sounds kind of counterintuitive, but
I think that was the experience of lots of people, yeah.
Yeah, and lots of, people had a bit more time, or some folk had a bit more time to stop and natter, and it's great kind of swapping. I got some irises from somebody and swapped that for some date slice, and just little things like that, like a rhubarb plant for this and that. And I think there's a lot to be said about community, and there's a really good one here. Lots of fine folk, and it kind of makes me sad that some people grow up not having that, not knowing what that's like, because it was like that where I grew up. It's like that here, and not everybody has that.
Yeah. I think to know it and lose it is a hard thing as well.
Yes.
Wow, look at the kirkyard.
Amazing long shadows. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's a good place to be buried, I think. That old familiar sound. Squeaky gate.
I hope you enjoyed this first episode of Lie of the Land. Thanks to my guests Sheenagh Pugh and Jenny Sturgeon for being my willing guinea pigs. The programme will be back in the new year with a really special walk in Unst with poet Roseanne Watt. Thanks for listening.
Choice of listening continuing, of course, for you if you want to hear St Johnstone against Rangers. BBC Radio Scotland on digital and on 810 medium wave. BBC Sounds and 92 to 95 FM is the place for Celtic against Ross County. You can get both games live online at bbc.co.uk/sportscotland.
Celtic.
It's Lee Griffiths
versus Ross County.
It's into the net. Ross County have scored again. It's Jakaviti. Well, this is sensational.
Listen live online at bbc.co.uk/sportscotland.
Yes, welcome back to Celtic Park with myself, Alistair Lamont, and alongside me this evening, Pat Bonner and James McFadden, waiting for the second half to begin, but no sign of the team just yet. We did have a bit of injury time at the end of that first half, so we are a bit behind the other 6 o'clock kickoffs. So I wonder, chaps, would we like to see any half-time changes? Obviously Ross County already forced into one change. Would you foresee John Hughes, for instance, making any further changes just yet?
No, I don't think so. I think he'd be quite happy with the way the game's gone. Obviously he won't be happy with losing a goal, and he won't be happy that they're behind, because I think they were well structured, and when he did get the ball, there was at one period there, I think they knocked about 10 passes together, but it was the end product at the end of it to give it away. So he'd be probably saying to them, guys, we can get higher up the pitch at times if we keep the ball working, but try to get that ball. When he did get a ball into the box on a couple of occasions, obviously Ross Stewart was on the pitch. He did get a couple of headers, obviously wide of the target, but at least he made the opportunities. So that little bit of focus and concentration from them. So he won't make any changes, I don't think, because he's quite happy. He was forced into one change. You won't want to make anything just yet to see how the game's going.
James, you've picked up on a couple of moments of slackness in the Celtic defence, which clearly has been an issue for them over the past couple of months. How important from that point of view is it that they go out and get a second goal? Because one goal you would feel might not be enough.
Yeah, I just think that they need to, stay concentrated. We've seen it too many times this season in particular for Celtic, where it's almost like they're cruising the game, and then defensively it is a concentration. It's a lapse in concentration. The one I picked up on was Michael Gardine's inside behind him. There's no way he should get on the end of it. Just go and deal with it, clear it, get on the ball, you can build again. But I think it's vital, especially the way that Celtic have been playing. You only need to look at the cup final at the weekend. They're 2-0 up, they're cruising, they're in control of the match. They switch off down the right hand side. They don't deal with the initial phase. They don't deal with the cross, and Hearts get back into the game. So it's something that if they can, I think you're right. It's important they get another goal,